quantity. So that last question, so it's among the pilot paper. It was a pilot paper, August 2009. August 2009. There is a question number 4, part B. Question 4, part B. You check on page 112. When you go to page 112, August 2009, there is a question number 4, part B. So check. There is a question number 4, part B. It is on page 112. Question number 4, part B. My pattern. Yeah. So if you can check over that question, it reads that Mtwapa Limited sells Roland. It sells Roland at a rate of Mtwapa Limited sells Roland at a rate of 500 per week throughout a working year. So of 215 days. So the product is normally purchased by Mtwapa Limited, ready for sale at 17 per unit. So investigations have shown that Roland can be made at a rate of 300 units per day in part of the factory presently unoccupied. The direct cost per unit is as follows. So they gave you direct materials, labor, and also variable overheads. Labor and also the variable overheads. So the setup cost per batch is estimated to be 6,000. And stock holding cost percentage is 25% per annum. So required from letter 1. They wanted you to calculate the economic batch quantity. It is not quantity, to be economic batch quantity. From letter 2, the total cost associated with the economic batch quantity. Then also you want to state some assumptions. So we were able to discuss that concept yesterday. When you have to compute economic batch quantity is supposed to be given by 2 RS divided by CI, then 1 minus U. So that was meant to be our concept of the economic batch quantity. So you simply take 2 RS, then we divide by CI in the bracket of 1 minus U over 3. So we need to specify those variables. We need to specify those variables, how they will be estimated. So they were able to give you the details where they say that Mtwapa Limited sells Roland at a rate of 500 per day throughout the working 250 days. So the product is normally purchased by Mtwapa. Then an investigation has shown that Roland can be met at a rate of 300. So there's a change on that item. We make some changes on it. We should make some changes. Make some changes. Find out the question. So the 500 should be 800. The 500 should be 800. Not, sorry, the one for 300 should be 800. So the one they have given you. So that is the difference. So they have said that, so those who are online, we make some small changes there, where they say, Mtwapa Limited sells RORAM at a rate of 500 per day. So that is like the demand. That is like now the demand for the usage. But the production is meant to be, because they are made at a rate of 300. So our usage is 500. Usage is 500, but production is meant to be 800. So you have made a change where there is 300, and change it to 800. So to get our R, you take the 500 multiply by the number of days in a year, which are 250. To get our R, now we take 500, then we multiply 250, the number of days in a year. So you should be able to give us around 125,000. So S is given the setup cost. S has been given as the setup cost. So that setup cost, you can see the setup cost per batch is estimated at 6,000. So setup cost is 6,000, that's the setup cost. Then C, I want you to add the variable production cost, direct material, labor cost, and variable overheads. So add the direct material, direct labor, and variable overheads. So it should give us which figure. So CI is given, sorry, I is not CI, but I has been given as 25%. So I is given as 25%. So from there, you can now calculate your economic batch quantity. We can now compute the economic batch quantity. Can now come up with what is supposed to be the economic batch. So economic batch quantity equal to where there is R, you put there 185,000. Where there is S, it is 6,000. Then we divide by, so C is 40, I is 0.25, 1 minus, so 500 divided by What should be our economic batch quantity? You get 20,000. So now we can go to the Roman letter 2. Roman letter 2, they wanted you to get their total cost at the economic batch quantity. So you can now also calculate the total cost at the economic batch quantity. So to get the total cost, total cost is supposed to be given by RC. Those are now the variable costs. Then holding cost is half Q CI. Then remember 1 minus over P. Then there was also the setup costs. So for the setup costs, remember it was R over Q, then S. So R is the annual demand, which is 125,000, which is 125,000. So C is 14. Then so economic batch quantity is our Q. We have said it's 20,000. Then C is 14. Also more by 0.25. Remember to multiply again. 1 minus 300. Then we R over Q is, so R is 125,000. Q is 20,000. Multiply the SS or 6,000. Okay, so so it is giving you which one? So for us, sorry?
The usage I'm seeing there is 300. Is it 300 to 500?
There?
Usage over 800. Is it 300 to 500? Kindly help.
No, so the figures which remember how much I have written. It is 500. Okay. So when they asked the last part, where they were asking you to give them the assumptions, they don't change. They are the same as the one we used for the economic order quantity. The assumptions, they will be the same as the one I gave you for the economic order quantity. Those assumptions are simply the same, so you'll be able to apply it from that level. So we have done almost the entire part in relation to that. So finally, let us look at the qualitative models of the stock control. How we look at the qualitative models of the stock control. We now look at the qualitative models of the stock control. the qualitative models of the stock control.
Okay, so there is this is the example of the credit
So under that, we can write that so far we have been dealing with the quantity. You want now for the quality part. You want now to look at the quality part, the qualitative models. You want now to look at the quality part. So the first one will be just in time system. Number one will be just in time system. The first one should be a just in time system. So for that, we shall write that this is the production system. This is the production system that was developed by, it is the production system that was developed by Toyota Motors Production Company. That was developed by Toyota Motors Production Company. The Toyota Motors Production Company. And it is credited for, success of Toyota. And it is credited for the success of Toyota, and other major Japanese manufacturers. Success of Toyota and other major Japanese manufacturers. Then we continue by writing that it is a demand pull. It is a demand pull production system. It is a demand pull production system. It is a demand pull production system with the aim being to produce. The aim being to produce required high quality goods. Aim being to produce required high quality goods. Exactly at the time they are required to produce required high quality goods. Exactly at the time they are required. They are required. Then we continue by writing that it has a trademark of pursuing excellence. It has a trademark of pursuing excellence at all stages of production. It has a trademark of pursuing excellence at all stages of production. It has a trademark of pursuing excellence at all stages of production with a climate of continuous improvement. With a climate of continuous improvement. So we can now look at the key features of the just-in-time system. Key features of the just-in-time system. The key features of the just-in-time system. Number one will be that the move towards zero inventory of the finished goods. The move towards zero inventory of the finished goods. The move towards the zero inventory of the finished goods, raw materials, and work in progress. So finished goods, raw materials, and the work in progress. So that's now the first key feature of coming up with a just-in-time system. Number two is that it emphasizes on the perfect quality. It emphasizes on the perfect quality. Emphasize on the perfect quality. It emphasizes on the perfect quality, i.e. zero defects, i.e. zero defects, i.e. zero defects, leading to the total quality improvements, leading to the total quality improvements, leading to the total quality improvements. Then number 3 will be elimination of non-value added activities. 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 The next one will be obtaining 100% on time delivery. Obtaining 100% on time delivery. Obtaining 100% on time delivery, i.e. no delay. Obtaining 100% on time delivery, i.e. no delay. The next one will be it is the demand pool. It is the demand pool. Demand pool manufacturing system. It is the demand pool manufacturing system. It is the demand pool manufacturing system, i.e. its main aim is to meet, i.e. its main aim is to meet the customer's demand. Its main aim is to meet the customer's demand. Its main aim is to meet the customer's demand. So let us now look at the benefits of adopting the just-in-time system. We can now also look at the benefits of adopting the just-in-time system. The benefits of adopting just-in-time system. Benefits of adopting the just-in-time system. So, number 1 is that the funds that were tied up, or the funds that were tied up in the inventory, the funds that were tied up in the inventory can be used elsewhere. The funds that were tied up in the inventory can be used elsewhere. So we don't keep stock in the business. We only buy stock when a customer wants a product. So we only make that product to be delivered to the customer. So we don't buy material to keep in the store. So because of that, that element of the capital that was held, that you normally keep in the store, it will not be there. That money can be used elsewhere. You have seen it is a high manufacturing process. Like now for the aeroplanes, we cannot manufacture an aeroplane for, let's say, where we keep it in the showroom. It is manufactured, it goes direct to the customer. So that way, we'll be able to save. So we only buy material when a customer has requested for an item. So we make it in that manner. So that's now number 1. Number 2 is that the area previously used for the storage, the area previously used for the storage of the inventories, the area previously used for the storage of the inventories can be used for other more productive uses. It can be used for other more productive uses. Used for other productive uses. So that is also another element. We don't have the storage in that particular condition. The next one is that reduced defect rate, reduced defect rates, leading to low wastage, reduced defect rates leading to low wastage, The next one is that workers with their multiple skills, will be used more effectively. The workers with their multiple skills will be used more effectively. The next one is that the lower management team is kept on their toes, leading to perfect work being done. They are kept on their toes, leading to their perfect work being done. Then the last one is that the time used in the production is reduced. Leading to the customers receiving their product on time. Hence, customers will be satisfied. So those are some of the benefits why they adopt and just then we can also look at another paragraph that the just-in-time system differs from the just-in-time system. Differs from the periodic review control system. The just-in-time system differs from the periodic review control system. In the following ways. Number one is that raw materials will not be ordered. The raw materials will not be ordered. When the reorder level is indicated. The raw materials will not be ordered when the reorder level is indicated. But when they are actually required for the production. But when they are actually required for the production. The number two is that the inventory level will be reduced to zero level. The inventory level will be reduced to zero level. Therefore, Therefore, there will be no maximum or minimum level. Therefore, there will be no maximum or minimum level. There will be no maximum or minimum level. The next one is that the supplies will be delivered. The supplies will be delivered on the long-term contract. The supplies will be delivered on the long-term contract. On the long-term contract, as soon as they are required. As soon as they are required. As soon as they are required. But in small quantity. But in small quantity. But in small quantity. Therefore, this will increase the ordering cost. Therefore, this will increase the ordering costs. Therefore, this will increase the ordering costs. Then number 4 is that the space required for the storage will reduce significantly. The space required for the storage will reduce significantly. The space required for the storage will reduce significantly. Then the last one is that economic order quantity model will not be relevant. The economic order quantity model will not be relevant. It will not be relevant. So there's a question for May 2014, question 4B. May 2014, we check question number 4, part B. May 2014. There is a question number 4, part B. May 2014. Question number 4, part B. So go to page 74. We check page 74. There's a question number 4. When you check page 74. So first you check the part A of it. First check part A of it, where they say that Bidhaa Limited operates a number of branches which have their own purchasing department. So the purchasing director is proposing a system where all purchases are carried out by a centralized department. So required explain 4 benefits that will be realized from a centralized purchasing system. In the last class to the undergraduate of it, when we started the stock control requirements of a centralized budget benefits. So my concern is the part B. My concern is the part B. So part B, they have said that Makinika Limited manufactures a single product, branded zinc, for the financial year commencing on 1st of July 2014. The sales demand and the selling price for zinc are expected to be as follows. So you are given quarter 1, 2, 3 up to 4. They have also given you the sales demand in units. Also, the unit selling price has been provided. So additional information, note number 1. Product zinc is produced at a constant rate of 45,000 units per quarter. 45,000 units per quarter. During the year, excess production units are held in the inventory at a cost of 6 per unit per quarter, based on the average inventory. The now inventory of the product zinc is expected to be held on the 1st of July. Then note number 4. Note number 4 is that production cost per unit of product zinc are expected to be as follows. They are expected to be as follows. So quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4 is given, then total cost. Then the management is proposing to change the current system of production to the just-in-time system. The note number 6, if the just-in-time system is adopted and production level exceeds 45,000 units per quarter, excess units will have to be produced by working overtime. This will mean that unit direct labor and variable overhead cost of any unit above 40,000 per quarter will increase by 50%. No other cost will be affected by working overtime. So required, advise the management whether just-in-time system of production should be adopted. So we shall be calculating the total cost on that. We compare current production and also the one for the just-in-time system. When you adopt the just-in-time system, total cost is based on sales. That's demand. But under the normal system, it is based on the production, because not everything that is produced will be sold. But just-in-time system, it is based on the sales. So we need to get something like an average quantity somewhere. We need to get something like the average quantity. So to get the average quantity somewhere, we need to do a schedule. We need to come up with a schedule. So we shall be having the water. We shall be having somewhere the water. Then production. Yes. Also the sales in units. Then we shall also be having opening stock. Opening stock. Then also closing stock. In units. Then also the average stock. Also average. So remember, when you want to get a production, get the production in units. You take the sales in units, you add on the closing stock. Then you minus. So you also have that formula somewhere just for the purpose of the lines. So if you want to know what you produced, production in units will be equal to what you are able to sell, then you add what was remaining. Then you subtract what was there at the beginning. So if you want to calculate production in units, you simply take the sales in units, we add the closing stock, then we minus the opening stock. We minus the opening stock. So we start off with quarter 1. We start off with quarter 1. So production was given. Production was given. Are you able to see the paragraph number not number one, sorry. Are you able to see our note one under the additional information? Additional production of zinc is produced at a constant rate of. Yeah, so production is constant, 45 each quarter. 45 each quarter. Then I want you to check now under the sales. Quarter one, are you able to see the sales in demand? They gave us 30 what? That's 3. Then I also want you to go to the note number 2. Sorry, not note number, but the note number 2. I want you to check in the note number 3 where they say that no inventory of zinc is expected to be held on 1st of July. But when you check up there in the question, they had told us about it, but they say that Magnica Limited is as manufactures a single barrel zinc for the financial year commencing on when? On 1st of July 2014. So that's not number 3 is saying that no inventory. So the opening stock is on 1st of July, but they are saying there will be no value for that. So this opening stock is 0 for the 1st quarter. The opening stock will be 0 on the 1st quarter. So using this formula I've given you, we can get the closing stock. We can get the closing stock. So when you make the closing stock to be the subject, sales will cross, sales will become a negative. Then this particular closing stock will also close. Then it will also get. Sorry, I will start by closing. Yeah, the closing stock will remain. So this one will go this side becomes negative. But you know this thing is already. So what should be there as our closing stock? So our closing stock will be 12,000. So average, we normally add opening plus closing divided by 2. For you to get the average stock, simply add the opening stock plus the closing stock divided by 2. So that means you take the 12,000 plus 0, which remains 12,000, then divide by 2 to be able to give us 6,000. Yes. So we go to quarter 2. So production is not changing. Production has remained 45,000. So sales for quarter 2, the question has given us. So 48. Then remember the closing stock for quarter 1 will be opening stock for quarter 2. Remember the closing stock for quarter 1 will be the opening. So this one is 12,000. Then now you can also determine what should be now the closing stock. You can also determine what should now be the closing stock. So 9,000. Then average stock, you add the 12,000 plus 9,000 divided by 2. $10,500. So we go to quarter 3. We go to quarter 3. It is still 45,000. So sales, they gave you 31,000. Then remember the closing stock for quarter 2 will be the opening for quarter 3, which is 9,000. So also compute the closing stock. Then what should be the average stock? Then we go to quarter 4. We go to quarter 4. So this will remain 45,000. So sales is given as what? Sorry? 38,000. So this one is 3,000. So closing should be which here? Then average should be now be. So I want you to get this total average. Get those total average. Can now come up with total average. We get the total average. So that was just one of the working. So let us now get the total cost under the current system. We now get, so this is just our working. We require this figure. We can be using it somewhere. So we now get the total cost under the current system. We can now get the total cost under the current system. So total cost. And the get the total cost under the current system. Total cost under the current system. So we start off with the production costs. We start the production cost. So production costs, they are based on the production units. So quarter one, production is 45,000. It is the same every quarter. Then the question is the note number 4. They gave you the production cost per unit. You see the one for quarter one, multiplied by 85. Quarter two, it is still 45,000. But quarter two will multiply by 91. Quarter three is still 45,000, but we multiply by what? 94. Then quarter four, you still take 45,000. This one we multiply by 99. So calculate that. We get the production costs. Production costs. We get the production costs.
Level. So this level, because of our two, no matter the level, we have the column. We have the column level. And then we have the row.
Once you get that, we add there the holding costs. We add there the holding costs. So holding cost, I want you to put the question. I want you to put the question in the note number 2. Holding cost, you go to the note where they say that during the year, excess production units are held. So being held is what brings in the holding cost. They are held at a cost of how much? 6 per unit per quarter, based on what? Average inventory. So average you added, we got a total of what? So you take the 24,000, that's now the holding cost. Holding cost was based on the average, and get the average I've shown you. So once you get that, add them together, give you now the total cost under the current system. Give you the total cost under the current system. So to get the total cost under the current system. Get the total cost under the current system. Get the total cost under the current system. The current system. So I want us now to compare that to the just-in-time system. I want to compare that to the just-in-time system.
I come to like a number of million, then like 8,000 years, maybe it's going to be good.
So it's one for the just in time system. So when we use the just in time system, I said it is based on demand. You only manufacture based on the demand. So we calculate the total cost based on the sales. Sales is now the demand. But when you go to the note number 6, when you go to the note number 6, they have said that if the just-in-time system is adopted and the production level exceeds how many units? Yeah, so per quarter, excess units will have to be produced by working overtime. So this will mean that unit direct labor and the variable overhead cost of any unit above 45,000 per quarter will increase by 50%. To be able to increase by 50%. So we start off with quarter 1. We start off with quarter 1. Remember, it is based on sales, but in case the sales is more than the production, now we have excess, but where now the cost per unit will change because those two items will go up by 50%. But now quarter 1, you see quarter 1 the sales, they were at 3,000 units. So we simply take the 3,000 units multiplied by the production cost per unit for quarter 1. You remember in the note number 4, it was 85. So this one has no excess production, but if there was excess production, we would have taken them but adjusted this figure. You see the 85. If there is excess, if it's more than the 45, the excess units you include them there, but you adjust this one. Your variable cost and the labor has gone up to 50%, but this one has less than 55. We just have it like that. We should just have it like that. So what does it give you? So we go to quarter 2. We go to quarter 2. So quarter 2 sales were. So we first start with the 45. So 45, we value it at. So how many units are there as excess? So this 3,000, we make some adjustment. So we are on quarter 2. You can leave 3 lanes for quarter 2, so quarter 3 and quarter 4. Then the total. Then you do some workings down there. You can leave 3 lines, then we do some workings. So in these workings, the first one is direct materials. The first one is direct materials. So direct materials, they had stated that in the note number 6. They said that if the just-in-time system is adopted and the production level exceeds 45,000 units per quarter, excess unit will have to be made to be produced by working overtime. So this will mean that unit direct labor and variable overhead. So material will not be affected. Material, they gave us how much in quarter 2? 18. So 18 is not affected, but direct labor is affected. Direct labor is going to be what? Affected. So we do our working for the direct labor. So direct labor is going to increase by 50%. So currently they have given us 36. So get 150%. 150% of 36 to give us now, because we're going to go up by 15%. it's going to go up by 50%. So when you increase it now by 50%, give us then, or the next one is supposed to be variable overheads. Now the next one is variable overhead. So variable overheads will also go up by 50%. So we get 150% of 12. 18. Then fixed costs are not affected. So fixed costs are not affected. It means they will be how much? Yeah, so this one is 20. So you add them together. Online, I hope we are together up to that point. Those who are online, is it clear to everyone? So nothing that happened? 115. Yeah, so this one you value them at 1. So that we now get the value for that. So it is giving us which figure? So now we go to quarter 3. We go to quarter 3. Quarter 3 sales, there are how many units? 51. So first you start with the 45. So the 45 for quarter 3, we value them at what price? 94. So how many are excess? 6,000. The 6,000. So the 6,000, we do our work now for quarter 3. We do our work now for quarter 3. So direct material for quarter 3. 19. So you change this one to 19. Then direct labor, it was 36. So it goes up by 50%. So at 50% of 36 will remain what? 54. Then variable overhead is which here? 14. So increase 14 by 50%. So 21. So fixed cost is not affected. You just include the way it is. The fixed cost is not affected. We just include the way it is. And now, get the value for us. Get the value. So that should give us a language here. So finally we go to quarter 5. So quarter 4. So quarter 4 production was, sales was. Yeah, so we shall also be having 45. But this one we value it at what price? So we value it at 95. Then we add. What is the excess? For the 3,000, we go and make adjustments on the price for quarter 4. So material has gone to 20. Direct labor is still 36, so it will just remain 54. Then also variable overhead is 14, so it will just be 21. Then fixed overhead will now remain 25, so that we get the value. 120. So that cost will be reached here. So add them together. Add them together. Now you compare the two. Under the current system and the just-in-time system. The current system and one for the just-in-time system. So which one has a lower cost? Yeah, so now the advice is that the company should not change. It should not change to the just-in-time system. It should not change to the just-in-time system. It should not change to the just-in-time system as it leads to a higher production costs. As it leads to a higher production costs. It leads to a higher. Therefore, it should maintain the current production system. Therefore, it should maintain the current production system. Within the current production system. So that is now the only question I can see in your notes, in your past papers about the just-in-time system. But there are theory questions we will be getting. So that's now number one, the qualitative part. So number two will be backflash accounting system. Backflash accounting system. Backflash accounting system. So this one has no computation. We just track the records that we used in the previous production, which should be repeated as we proceed. So we shall be comparing what was incurred last time in order to get the cost to be incurred to produce the next product. So under that, we shall note that this is a traditional costing system. It is a traditional costing system which uses sequential, which uses the sequential tracking in order to track the costs, which uses sequential tracking in order to track the costs, as the product, in order to track the costs as the product pass from raw materials, to the work in progress, and then to the finished goods, and then to the finished goods, and finally to the sales, and finally to the sales, and finally to the sales, and finally to the sales. Then another paragraph, we continue by writing that material costs are charged. Material costs are charged to the work in progress. The work in progress the work in progress when materials are issued to the production. When materials are issued to the production. When materials are issued to the production. Materials are issued to the production. Then we consider by noting that direct labor and overhead costs, direct labor and overhead costs are charged in a similar way. The direct labor and overhead costs are charged in a similar way, as the cost is incurred, as the cost is incurred, as the cost is incurred. Therefore, costs do not follow the normal flow. Therefore, the costs do not follow the normal flow. Do not follow the normal flow of the production, of the production, of the production, of the production during the production process, of the production, during the production, during the production process. But they are attached to the output produced. But they are attached to the output produced. But they are attached to the output produced on the assumption that, they are backflashed. They are backflashed. They are backflashed. They are backflashed costs. They are backflashed costs. i.e., it is a realistic measure. It is a realistic measure of the actual cost incurred. It is a realistic measure of the actual cost incurred. A realistic measure of the actual cost incurred. Let me continue by writing that it is used to where the overall cycle. It is used to where the overall cycle time, is relatively short. The overall cycle time is relatively short, and the inventory levels are lower. So those are now the qualitative part, the quality part of inventory control. So this one has no calculation. We simply track the costs when the product is moving from one level. So let us now have a brief subtopic as inventory systems. We can now have a brief subtopic as the inventory systems. As the inventory systems. As the inventory systems. As the inventory systems. So for that, we write that these are systems used to carry out the stock taking activities. They are systems which are used to carry out the stock taking activities. They are systems which are used to carry out the stock taking activities. The stock taking activities. The stock taking activities. So they include. So I want to know some of the stock taking activities that we have. So the first one should be physical inventory system. Physical inventory system. Physical inventory system or or periodic inventory system, physical inventory system, or periodic inventory system. Yeah, so like now for this one, stock taking is carried out at the end of a given period. You see, every organization, they normally do stock taking to know material that are still in the store and what has been issued, even to discover which are lost. So it is simply arranging an inventory assessment whereby we want to know our balance of the raw material, also what has been issued, and also that. So some companies, they do it at the end of a given accounting period. It can be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or 1 year. So that's how they go about, so that they verify what they have. So that's now what you just be referring to as physical inventory system or periodic inventory system. So that one we summarize that we cannot that it is a system. It is a system where stock taking is done, where the stock taking is done at the end of the accounting period, where the stock taking is done at the end of the accounting period. Stock taking is done at the end of the accounting period. It therefore involves verification of the items. It therefore involves verification of the items at the end of the accounting period. It therefore involves verification of the items at the end of the accounting period. At the end of the accounting period, in order to determine the value of the closing balance of the inventory. In order to determine the value of the closing balance of the inventory. The value of the closing balance of the inventory. So let us now have advantages of the periodic inventory system. Advantages of the periodic inventory system. Advantages of the periodic inventory system. So number one will be that adequate records will be maintained from the exercise. Adequate records will be maintained from the exercise. Adequate records will be maintained from the exercise. The number two is that experts can be hired to conduct the exercise. Expert can be hired to conduct the exercise. Expert can be hired to conduct the exercise. Remember, most of the time, the business is normally closed down for the exercise. So that means they are likely to get people from outside to do that work. So let us also have disadvantages. Sorry, before then, we have number three. We have number three is that operations of the business. The operations of the business, not the exercise. Operations of the exercise, not the business. Operations of the exercise is not interrupted. Operations of the exercise is not interrupted. Is not interrupted since the business is closed down. Since the business is closed down for the exercise. Since the business is closed down for the exercise. The business is closed down for the exercise. We have seen even some supermarkets, the brand, they say it is closed down for what? Stock taking. So let us also have disadvantages for the periodic inventory system. Disadvantages for the periodic inventory system. Disadvantages of the periodic inventory system. Number one is that Number one is that one you cannot touch. Errors may not likely be detected. Errors may not likely to be detected. Errors may not be likely to be detected. Remember, if you are carrying out at the end of the year and something occurred on 1st of January, you see, you may not detect that kind of error. Like now, if it got spoiled and it was not somewhere, we may not actually get that error. The number two is that operations of the business is interrupted. Operations of the business is interrupted. It is interrupted. It is interrupted since the business is closed down. Since the business is closed down for the stock taking. Since the business is closed down for the stock taking. The number three is that it may be expensive. It may be expensive if experts are hired to carry out the work. It may be expensive if the experts are hired to do the work. And the last one is that it is difficult to define. It is difficult to define the accounting period to be used. It is difficult to define for the accounting period to be used. It is difficult to define the accounting period to be used. So let us go to number two as continuous inventory system. Number two will be continuous inventory system. Number two will be continuous inventory system. Continuous inventory system or perpetual inventory system. Continuous inventory system or simply the perpetual inventory system or the perpetual inventory system. So for that one, you summarize that this is a system of recording the stock balances. It is a system of recording the stock balances. It is a system of recording the stock balances after every transaction. After every transaction, to facilitate regular checking, to facilitate regular checking, and determine the value of the closing balance. Determine the value of the closing balance of the inventory. Determine the value of the closing balance of the inventory. Then you continue by writing that methods like fast in, fast out. Methods like fast in, fast out, in brackets, equal, last in, fast out, in brackets, equal, and weighted average methods. And weighted average methods will be used. And the weighted average methods will be used. Weighted average methods will be used. So let us now have advantages of the continuous inventory system. So this one normally happens, it normally applies in the bank. When you go to the bank at the end of the business day, you do some reconciliation so that you know whether there is any deficit. So we are looking at the advantages of the continuous inventory system. Number one is that records are adjusted after every transaction. Records are adjusted after every transaction. The records are adjusted after every transaction. Therefore, the results are accurate. Therefore, the results are accurate. Therefore, the results are accurate. Number two is that there is no extra cost to be incurred. There is no extra cost to be incurred because the work is done. The work is done by the staff. The work is done by the staff. Then number three is that the operation of the business are not interrupted. The operations of the business are not interrupted. The operations of the business are not interrupted. So you can also have disadvantages of the continuous inventory system. We can also have the disadvantages of the continuous inventory system. So among the disadvantages, number one is that there is no motivation to work on the staff. There is no motivation to work on the staff, as there is no extra pay. There is no motivation to work with the staff, as there is no extra pay. As there is no extra pay. Then number two, inaccurate information, as the experts are not involved. Inaccurate information, as the experts are not involved. As the experts are not involved. The last one is that records may be manipulated. The records may be manipulated. The records may be manipulated. So those are now the key issues for that. So we can now have another subtopic as we can also have another subtopic as material receipts and issues. We can also have materials, receipts, issues. Materials, receipts, and issues. Material receipts and issues. So under that, we write that this will involve the methods. This will involve the methods which are used to buy and issue, materials to the store, which are used to buy and issue materials to the store, which are used to buy and issue materials to the store. They include number one is first in, first out, first in, first out, in brackets, first in, first out, in brackets, the people method. So under that, we note that we shall summarize that. Under this method, comma, the materials purchased first. Under this method, comma, materials purchased first are the first to be issued out. Materials purchased first are the first to be issued out. Materials purchased first are the first to be issued out. Therefore, the materials in the store. Therefore, the materials in the store are the last materials. Therefore, materials in the store are the last materials that were purchased. Therefore, materials in the store are the last materials that were purchased. Then we continue by writing that to determine the value of the closing stock. To determine the value of the closing stock. To determine the value of the closing stock, comma, the store's ledger card. The store's ledger card. The store's ledger card is normally prepared. Is normally prepared. Is normally prepared. Is normally prepared. So before we look at a question, we can have advantages. Advantages. We get a question. We can look at the advantages. We can look at the advantages of the first in, first out. So among the advantages of the first in, first out. Advantages of the first in, first out. Number one is that it is based on the realistic assumptions. It is based on the realistic assumption. It is based on the realistic assumption that the materials are issued, in the order in which they were received. Realistic assumption that materials are issued in the order in which they were received. Materials are issued in the order in which they were received. The number two is that materials are issued at the actual cost. Materials are issued at the actual costs. Materials are issued at the actual costs. And therefore, there is no unrealized profit or loss. And therefore, there is no unrealized profit or loss. There is no unrealized profit or loss, which will arise from the operation of the method. Which will arise from the operations of the method. Which will arise from the operations of the method. Then number three is that the method is easy to understand and simple to operate. The method is easy to understand and simple to operate. It is easy to understand and simple to operate. Then the last one is that the evaluation of the closing stock. The evaluation of the closing stock is at cost. The evaluation of the closing stock is at cost. And therefore, they will reflect. The actual costs that was incurred on the material. Therefore, they will reflect the actual cost that was incurred on the materials. Reflect the actual cost that was incurred on the materials. Let us also have disadvantages of the first in, first out. Disadvantages of the first in, first out. So among the disadvantages, number one is that when the prices are subject to frequent changes, when the prices are subject to frequent changes, the method involves The method involves complicated adjustments. The method involves complicated adjustment. The method involves complicated adjustments to reflect the current costs. The method involves complicated adjustment to reflect the current costs. To reflect the current costs. Then number 2 is that materials are issued to the production at the previous cost. Materials are issued to the production at the previous costs. Materials are issued to the production at the previous costs. At the previous costs. And therefore, the cost of production. Therefore, the cost of production may not reflect. And therefore, the cost of production may not reflect the current economic factors. May not reflect the current economic factors affecting the operations. May not reflect the current economic factors affecting the operations. May not reflect the current economic factors affecting the operations. So let us now get some questions from your past papers in relation to that. We can now get some questions. So there is a question in November 2020. November 2020. Question number 1. November 2020. There is a question number 1. November 2020. There is a question number 1, part A. November 2020. There is a question number 1, part A. So that question 1, part A, it reads that Manjiwa Limited, a manufacturing firm operating in the textile industry. So the company recorded the following transactions in relation to the product BT during the month of January 2020. So they gave you the debt. They gave us purchases. They have also given us what? The sales. So additional information, not number 1. Opening inventory of product PT on 1st of January 2020. It comprised of how many units? 9,500 units purchased at a cost of 135. So not number 2. On 9th of January 2020, the company reported a shortage of 300 units. Not number 3. On 19th of January 2020, 600 units units sold on 17th January were returned by the customer. So now required Roma letter 1, the store's ledger account for the month of January 2020 using the first in, first out method of the inventory valuation. Then Roman letter 2, we also wanted you to get the value of the closing stock. So we will also be adding there the Roman letter 3. You will add there the Roman letter 3 as the income statement or the trading profit and loss account. Income statement or the profit and loss account. So income statement or the profit and loss account. So that question, I wanted us to do it and finish it. Sasa tutaifanya after break. So we do it. We do it at 11. So we have another class at 11. So that there will be no interruption in the flow. So online, we can stop there, we go for a break, so that when we meet now at 11, we shall look at that question. So you can go for a break.
Nanti misalnya water impatient. Ora, ora stava maybe. Oye, mi amor, ya, muy bien, Banyak orang sama, hanya berituan. Ni jauh sama lain jangan orang itu berada di yang ini aku senang. Cuma di ada yang berpikir macam orang ini. Ini dia sama sekali sama. Como itu dia di grupo. Cristina menjadi awal sebenarnya. Cristina makan awal. Yang bukan dari itu orang tua ini. Ini mah amat cewek. Orang sedikit. Yes.
So we got to learn
Ini dapat dia. Saya udah gue kan, bener kan? Siapa nih sih dia? Bisa tahu diri kan sama yang lebih tinggi. Itu bicara di desa kan? Jadi jika kita bisnis, kemudian dan lain-lain, asing sudah mencoba shopping, ada bukan mungkin kita kemudian kita bukan company saya, company saya enggak. Company budget. Nama dari saya kemudian saya kan kali sekian mes. Anda nggak tuh benar kan? Harus sekian jadi. Dalam materi, definisi budget biasa. Ini nama definisi budget biasa ini. Terus menjawab mau berpikir ini. Shopping tayo. Nana de patio de solución aquí para tomar digamos de am saber si es ya no será ya con mi no va a tener un poco grande de canción toca Shooting. Actual form. If we need enough. Oh, that is you want to get you. Move forward with the team, you're going to get the understanding of similar effect and veracity. That we were up in this school of first chapter. First university saying. Yes, thanks, Senor. Nanti kalau dia duduk cuma anak wakil bakal itu from mana yakin. Kewakilan. Yeah. 90 plus. Lakini tunaingia tunasema pale nimekuwa hivyo. Ndio class 11 tunaingia class 10. Sida komita sa nini? Ninaenda kumbana. Ndio kana kama
Wezi amini Nairobi inakuanga imejaa weekdays.
hakuna watu nje.
So angalia hiyo DP uone niende uchukue message.
Hello. Nimeangalia simu. Break.
Unajua kwa group yetu ni ya section 6.
Yes. Jadi sasa mambo kami ameenda. Oh. Ameenda kitambo. Unafanya nini? Nifanye baba. Nikuje next week. Sawa sawa. Mwingine nakuja Saturday. Alafu hiyo simu ya baba nilikuwa nimenunua bundles. Nimenunua asubuhi. Wacha nifanye wani mtini alafu tutawapigia. Sawa sawa.
Oh, nakuja acha. Oh, hii mwalimu ako 8.